Today we're going to talk about special segments in circles, and there are going to be 3 segments that we're looking at. I'm going to give you guys little formulas, and then we'll show you how to actually do them in a problem. So the first segment we're going to look at is a chord. A chord is this segment right here, side to side of your circle. If you notice, okay, both of your pieces, your piece that's X and your piece that is 2, you have 2 inside pieces that make up your chord. And so your formula, or the way you're going to set this up, is piece times piece. So you're going to say 2 times X. And again, this will not make a whole lot of sense till we actually see an actual problem in just a minute. The next kind of segment you're going to see is a secant. Okay, this is a secant. And if you look, you have one piece that is inside the circle. So for this one, that would be your X. And you have one piece that is outside your circle. That would be your 15. Together, they make the whole segment, which is your secant. And so your formula for secant is the whole thing times the exterior segment. So the whole thing, you would add your 2 pieces together. And we can't combine them because one's an X and one's a 15. So the whole thing, the way you would set this up is whole thing, put it in parentheses, they have to stay together, times what part is on the outside, your 15. Whole times exterior. The last segment we're going to look at is a tangent. And if you notice, here's my tangent. It's only one piece, and it's completely outside your circle. Your tangent actually touches your circle in one place, but the tangent segment is completely outside of your circle. And so the way we set a tangent up is you just take whatever they're giving you, which is 26, and you square it. So tangent, to set it up, we square it. Secant, we do whole times exterior. And chord, we do piece times piece. So let's actually look at some examples. It'll make more sense once we see. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the 2 pieces of information, set them equal, which will make an equation, and then use Desmos to solve. So you probably want to color code so you can see more clearly, but I'm going to do this segment right here, KM, and then I will do the other segment, which is NL. And first I have to decide chord, secant, or tangent. So if we look at KM, you have the 3 and you have the X. They're both inside. So KM is a chord. And our rule or formula for chord is piece times piece. So I take this piece, 3, times the other piece, which is X. So I'm done setting that segment up. So now I'm going to look at my other segment, which I have colored green. I look, okay, 7 is one piece, 6 is the other piece. They're both inside my circle. So again, this is another chord. To set up the chord, we say piece times piece. So 7 times 6, and of course you could say 6 times 7. And what we're going to do, now that we've set that segment up, is we're just going to set them equal. Then we're just going to type them into Desmos and see what Desmos gives us. So we come over here, and you can type it in exactly how you wrote it. So X turns out to be 14. So X equals 14. So what we just figured out is that smaller purple piece right here is 14 units long. All right, let's look at number 2. Again, I would color code until you feel comfortable with making sure that you're looking at the right pieces. So there's one segment. Here's my other. If I look at my purple segment, the 6 and the X are both inside. If they're both inside, that's a chord. chord is piece times piece. So I'm going to say 6 times, what's my other piece? X. So we're done with that segment. Now we look at the other segment, which is my green. They're both inside, so that makes it a chord. Piece times piece. Be 9 times 9. And then we set it equal, okay, and we use Desmos. Let's see if I can pull it. It may not let me. No, I don't think it's going to let me, is it? No, probably not. So we are going to type that into Desmos. Get all this other junk. And if you're welcome to do it by hand if you'd like. We got a decimal. That's okay, 13.5. So again, make sure you understand what you figured out. That piece that's labeled X is 13.5. And we don't know the units. They didn't tell us that. But that piece from here to here is 13.5 units. All right, you pause and try number 3. Make sure you pause, try it yourself, and then come back and see if you did it right. Color code always helps you to make sure you don't mix up what numbers go with what. But again, go ahead and pause and then come back and check. Both of these are chords, so piece times piece, piece times piece, set them equal, type them into Desmos. Should get 10. So that piece of my purple chord is 10. All right, let's look at some other segments. So let's look at number 4. Again, color code. So there's one segment from C to L. Here's another segment from N to L. So now we have to decide, is it a chord, a secant, or a tangent? So if I look at my purple, okay, the X part is inside the circle. My 6 part is outside the circle. When you have one piece inside and one piece outside, that is your secant. When you see that, put the brackets on it because you know you're going to have to do a little add with your 2 pieces. So the first piece plus the second piece. Secant, our little formula, is whole times exterior. So when you do the bracket and you add your 2 pieces, that gives you your whole. So whole, remember, put it in parentheses, they have to stay together, times exterior, the 6 pieces on the outside. Whole times exterior. So we're done with that segment. We've set it up. Now we're going to look at my green segment. Again, the 7 is inside, the 5 is outside. That makes it a secant. So as soon as we say secant, we're going to put the little brackets. Brackets tell us we got to add our 2 pieces right here. So again, it's whole, and you could simplify that because 7 plus 5, you could actually get a number 4. But if you just want to leave it, that's fine. The whole thing times exterior. So if I look on that segment, the 5 is on the outside. So whole times exterior, set them equal, type them into Desmos, and I suggest that you type them in exactly how you wrote them. So we get x equals 4. So let's look at number 6. Same thing, color code. Now we got to figure out what kind of segments. So if you look, X is on the inside, 9 is on the outside. This would be a secant. I'm going to abbreviate. So you see that, you want to do the whole, because secant is whole times the part on the outside. So now we look at the green. One part is in, one part is out. That's another secant. So as soon as you say secant, do your brackets, because you gotta do the whole. So whole is 13 plus 5 times exterior, which is 5. Set them equal and just put it in Desmos. Okay, you don't have to do all the algebra. Desmos will do it all for you. Let's see, what was it? 13 plus 5. So 13 plus 5, close my parentheses. Okay, so we end up with x equals 1. All right, let's look at number 7. So again, color code, because you're gonna have 2 segments. We're gonna figure out what we got. So there's 1 from T to R, and then we also have PR. So if I look at TR, notice there's only one piece and it's completely outside my circle. So that is actually your tangent. The formula for tangent is segment squared, so all we have there is an x. So we just take x and we square it. And that's it. People like tangent because it's pretty easy. So now we look at the other segment. You have one piece inside, one piece outside. So that is your secant. Your secant is whole. So remember, you throw your brackets, add your 2 pieces. So whole, put them in parentheses, they got to stay together, times exterior. 8 is on the outside of your circle. So we've set up our secant. Now we just set it equal and type it into Desmos. Exactly how we wrote it. Okay, don't get creative, don't start simplifying things. Let Desmos do all the work. Now you notice here you have 2 answers. You have a negative answer and a positive answer. Because we're talking about length, our answer is always going to be positive, so we're going to go with x equals 12. Okay. Length, or how long something is, never can be negative. All right, one more. Let's look at number 9. So again, we're going to color code. There's my first segment. There's my second segment. So I look at my first segment, x plus 2 is on the inside of my circle, 2 is on the outside. That's your secant. As soon as we say secant, we throw up the brackets to remind ourselves that we need the whole thing. And to get the whole thing, we add all of our pieces. So notice that I add the x plus 2 and the 2. Okay, I don't just leave one piece. So the whole thing is that first piece, which is x plus 2, plus the second piece, which is 2, times, our formula is whole times outside, so the 2 is on the outside. Now we got to set up our other segment. I look here, it's only one piece. Okay, when it's only one piece and it's on the outside, that is your tangent. The rule for tangent is you take it and you square it. So we set that up. Now we just set our 2 pieces equal and we type them into Desmos and let Desmos do the hard work. So x plus 2 times 2 equals our tangent that we squared. Now can't see it, gotta zoom out. Tap. So x is 68. So if you have any questions, please let us know.